Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to create a simple SignalR application and explain to you how exactly SignalR works. So bear with me and let's get started. First thing I want to do is I want to go to ASP.NET SignalR URL and uh, go to get started link. I'm using ASP.NET Core. SignalR is also available in older versions of ACE.NET, but obviously we want to work with ACE.NET Core. So to get started with SignalR, let's create a new project. Let's go to our Visual Studio and create an ASP.NET Core web app. Next, I am going to create a drawing application using SignalR. And let's choose .NET Core current. Let's skip the HTTPS, and we don't need any authentication for now. Let's enable Razor runtime compilation. Usually you need something like this in your projects. So let's create the project. Then we need to add SignalR client library, and to do so you need to go to on package and use this address for the library. So let's do that. I right click here, I go to my lib folder and right click, add client side libraries, and let's go to on pkg and search for the latest version of SignalR. Everything is here. You only need the distribution part, so let's choose a specific parts, and that's pretty much all you need. We actually need only the browser parts. Others are not necessary for what we are going to achieve. So let's install and let's put it in SignalR folder because it's much easier to read. And I am going to have a page, empty page like this, and don't need this dive. And let's save everything, and let's add the SignalR to our layout page. Obviously, if you are working on a large project, you only want to add SignalR to a specific pages where you need, but right now I'm just going ahead and adding it to this part of my project. So I'm done with the client side of the SignalR. Next, let's create a SignalR hub, and I'm not going to do a chat demo. There are lots of chat demos about SignalR online, but for now let's create a hub, and I go to this part of my project, add a new folder for hubs, and let's add a class and call it drawing hub because we are going to draw online. And I think I need to inherit from hub. I control that here and add using for SignalR, and here we are going to add some methods later, but for now let's leave it like this. Then you need to configure SignalR. It means that you need to add the services and add the endpoint So let's do that. I go to my startup and services, add SignalR like this, and also here in my endpoints I need to map hubs, and let's look for drawing hub, and the pattern is drawing hub, something like that. And now we need to add client-side code and server-side code. Now let's talk about SignalR itself. It's an open source project coming from Microsoft, and a couple of Microsoft employees started it, and now it's a part of ASP.NET Core stack, and it is used for real-time communication in your web projects. In the background, SignalR uses 3 different methods to make the real-time connection happen. Long polling is the oldest way to do this, and SignalR supports it. And WebSockets is the latest version of this kind of communications. And SignalR usually starts with WebSockets, and if there was a problem and couldn't make it happen, it goes with server sent events. And if that didn't work, it will go with long polling. And long polling works pretty much everywhere, but the performance is very low, so you get the connection, but it might be slow. The beauty of SignalR is that it manages these connections by itself. You don't have to write any code, and it manages communication in the background by itself, and you can use it for chat application, notifications, gaming, change tracking, things like that. You can also stream back and forth using SignalR, and that's something that we don't see much demos, but it is possible. I already have a couple of videos about that, streaming from client to server and server to client using SignalR. You might want to check it out. But the structure of SignalR is something like this. Clients, most likely browsers, call to the hub. Hub lives inside the server. It's a class actually, as we created just now, and clients call to this hub and send information to this hub, and hub can share that information between other clients. So clients don't talk to each other directly, they talk to server, and inside the server there is a hub, and that's where everything happens and data gets shared between different clients. Each client can be a user. It can be user 1, user 2, user 3, and these users talk each other with a central hub. As for performance, this diagram that came from Microsoft shows that the WebSockets are fastest, even with a large number of users. WebSocket keeps its performance, but with SSE server sent events and long polling, you will encounter large loads, and the performance would slow down. So that's something to consider. You always want to use WebSockets and not the other two. So what I'm going to build is a drawing application, and to do so I'm going to use 2JS. It's a very simple two-dimensional drawing API. We are not going to use advanced feature of that. We are just going to create circles inside our browser and send that data to other users, so other users could see what we are drawing. And it's just a couple of lines of code. So let's do that. First, let's implement the drawing for this user, the current user. And to do that, let's add the library for 2JS. I go to my client and CDN is what I want to use, and let's search for 2JS, and let's include everything, and let's just use 2. I don't like the dot part, and let's have it here. Now I can add this 2JS to my layout, and now I can go to my index page and add a script here, assign section for a script, and let's add script. So let me just copy and paste some lines of code here, just for the sake of time. And also I need to add a div here, and the ID would be draw or canvas, anything you like. And we are going to draw inside this part of our HTML, and using this line of code we get the element by ID and use 2JS, initialize 2JS to work with that. So after this part, the div becomes a canvas for 2JS that you can draw on, and full screen says that it should be the whole browser area, and that's all we do in this part. And I am just going to ask for an position and draw a circle in that position with this color. This is my color. This is the command to create a circle, and this updates the canvas so that you could see the result. And this part is us looking for click event in our browser using JavaScript, and I am drawing a circle to the position that user clicks, and if there is any error, we report it back to the console. And this part is related to SignalR. Let's disable it for now, and let's start the project. So now we have a page that I can draw on. Any point I click, I see a circle in a maroon color and a red color, and that's it. Any position I click, I see a circle, and that's the client part of the idea. So what I want to do is, when a user clicks on the page, I want to send the coordination of that position to other users, so other users that having the same page running in their own browser could see the circle appearing, and this way we can share a page between different users. And let's do that. So first we need to find a way to send this data, the X position and Y position of user click, to the server, and I am going to do that using these lines of code. But we also need to make a connection to SignalR, and let's do it by using this script. So it's a very simple script in JavaScript. So let me paste it. So we are looking for SignalR, which is already in our layout page, and then we are creating a new hub, building a hub using this address, which I specified in a startup endpoint. And I don't need this for now. Let's remove that. And also I don't need this for now. Let's comment it. So we now create a connection or build a connection and start the connection. So it will make a live connection using WebSockets from this client's browser to the server, to the hub class actually. And whenever a user clicks on any point in the browser, the data will be sent to the server using this invoke method. There's a send method and there's an invoke method. There's a difference between invoke method and send method, but for our case, it doesn't matter. Both will work just fine. So with invoke method, we are calling this public method on our hub. Right now, in drawing hub, we don't have any kind of methods. So we need to make or add another public void for now, send board, and it will have int for x position and int for y position, and we will receive this inside our send code using this method. So let's save this and let's add a breakpoint here, and let's start debugging. And I'm also using Kestrel or Selfhost. So my server is up and running and my browser is on, and I click somewhere here, and immediately you see that the breakpoint on the server is hit and the position I'm receiving is 225 and or y is 146, and that's it. We now have our position on browser, and next we need to send this to all other clients. Let's just try it again. I click somewhere around here, and again we expect to have the same result on the server side, or maybe not because we have an error in our client and there's timeout. Yes, we had a timeout, and I can just refresh this page and do it again. Doing it faster, not letting timeout to kick in, and now it is working. And anytime I click anywhere in my browser, I send the coordination to the server, and it is happening somehow in real time because we are using WebSockets. And now let's implement the hub part. And before that, let's see this part. You can see that WebSocket is connected on my application, so you can have the logging inside console. We can change the settings for this, but that's how it works. So let's implement the server side. So I received the coordination on my server, and the only thing I need to do is to send this back to all other users. So I'm going with clients and others, anyone but the one who has sent the information, and I am going to use send async, and we are going to call a method on JavaScript side, and let's call it receive cord, and also let's pass the parameters x and y, And this is an async method, so I need to use await and async of task, and that's it. So we go back to our index page and implement this receive coord, which I do right now. And so this time the server calls a method on client side and JavaScript side and sends these parameters to it. And in JavaScript you don't have to specify any name for method arguments, and just have to have some parameters and it will be filled in. So we are done, but also we need to move this script down because we need this draw circle function. So that's it. Let's save everything and run the project again, this time without debugging, because I'm going to test the final. And let's remove this one and let's add a new incognito window because I want to simulate a different user. So let's go to our local host of 5000, and when I click somewhere around here, you can see that the same thing appears on the other side, and it happens every time I click. So as you can see, we are doing it in real time. This user can be in different machines in different parts of the world, but SignalR collects them together, and they can both play a game or chat, or in this time draw something together and see the result at the same time. Of course, if you are too far away from each other, it depends on the network delay to see the result, but it's going to work almost in real time. And that's it. That's how you create a simple SignalR application. And I hope you could find this project easy enough to understand. We are just sending some signals back and forth, and that's it. So before we end this video, let's go back to our drawing hub, and as you can see, we can use clients to send information, and there are lots of choices. You can have groups and send data to a group of users, and you can send to a list of users, one user in particular, and all users except some. And you can send data to the caller, the one who has sent the data. You can do very different things using these clients in the hub, and that's the most powerful part of SignalR in my idea. The fact that you can easily work it with match it with your identity, ASP.NET Core identity, and users appear here. You can find a list of online users using this hub, and you can send information to a particular user using its username or user ID. And that's the most important feature of SignalR, because working with users comes very easily, as opposed to using the WebSocket on its own. When you're using SignalR, you have the power of ASP.NET Core and identity together, and it makes it very easy to sending notifications to current users and making sure everything happens in the right moment. So Thanks for watching. And that's it for today, and I hope to see you soon.